your office. It's a public office. And I am happy that we've been able to raise very important matters through you from this platform. I was with you yesterday, some of you. We felt it is important we again call you today because the country needs our voice and our actions as leaders. The main reason I called you is on the fuel prices and crisis that is there in the country now. And I called you here also to provide practical solutions on how we can try to lessen the burden from the Kenyan people. But from yesterday, I'm sure all of us as Kenyans, so that the government has not been keen and the government has not been forthright in wanting to deal with this crisis in a manner that is humane and in a manner that understands that fuel is an important component in the running of our economy. Our economy literally runs on oil and fuel. And how we have seen, including the communication from government, has been disappointing and has been underwhelming. Because in such a matter, you'd have expected that instead of sending a memo to the newsrooms, just by the time you are finishing to read news, this is the matter that needed more explanation from senior government officials, because it's very far-reaching. I mean, increasing fuel with the margins Kenya increased. I am seeing, if you don't mind, maybe the ones who are here, naona kama you can try not to obstruct the others, or maybe hapo kando kidogo, tafadhali. So the issue is that the margin at which fuel was increased is not just about pump. It is about the spiraling within the economy. And let me start here by saying that the hiking of fuel prices that happened yesterday, of course, is unprecedented in terms of quantum. We have never seen that kind of margin increase in fuel prices ever since April started releasing the guidance of prices. And therefore, this is a very important matter to our economy and the running of our economy in all sectors. Just today, we have seen that the transport industry have also reacted to the hike in fuel prices by also passing over that burden to the consumers of the services within the transport industry. That is also likely to also happen in manufacturing. It is likely to happen in every other sector within our economy. And therefore, the bigger question that we need to ask ourselves as Kenyans, between the ripple effect of increasing fuel with the kind of margin that we did yesterday as Kenya, between that effect, that direct effect, and the ripple effect that is there, and on the other side, the amount of money that we could spend in making sure that fuel is affordable, what is a bigger cost to the economy and which is a more prudent thing to do? Is it to let the economy spiral in its negative effects from transport to manufacturing to the forex in terms of dollar demand and to all the other sectors? Is it better to stop that spiraling by spending some little more money on bringing down the prices? Or is it unleashing the entire price increment to the consumers? That is what we need to interrogate. And as I said before, it is upon us as leaders to also offer practical, reasonable proposals that Kenya can work on. And just to go direct to the point, number one is a joke taken too far by the government. 3% is inadequate. It is not addressing the issue on the table. Secondly, is that the people of Kenya expected the government to also talk about lowering fuel levy. And number three, the subsidy that was provided yesterday through the fuel stabilization fund is underwhelmingly inadequate, and we need to do something about it. So I have 3 proposals based on what we need to do as Kenyans now, without necessarily waiting. I have kept talking about this issue for the last 1 month because this was not an emergency that happened to Kenya. We have always known from the 28th of February that we'll need to think and do something about the fuel crisis. The fact that we had to postpone offering solutions up to yesterday evening, almost at midnight, just shows how casually the government has been taking this matter. So, as I talk about these 3 proposals, I request those who are concerned. This is not the time to chest dump and show Kenyans who knows what more than who. It is the time to present credible solutions to the issue that is the Kenyans are grappling with today. The number 1 proposal that I have, and wholesomely, the practical proposal we have can reduce fuel prices by 27 shillings today without hurting anyone. One is that we need to reduce our VAT by an extra 5% now. And that extra VAT of 5% will mean that our fuel prices will go down by, on that segment alone, by around 8 shillings. The second proposal is that we need to de-gazette the 7 shillings that was added on fuel levy in the year 2024. It was done through a gazette notice by the Minister for Transport. The same way, he needs to give a gazette notice today before the close of today. That will also bring down the fuel prices by an extra 7 shillings. The other thing that we must do is that the fuel stabilization fund has close to 20 billion Kenya shillings as we talk. And this is not money that has been budgeted for. This is money that Kenyans pay in the pump. As you go to fuel your car, it is the Kenyans who have been funding the fuel stabilization fund. And my proposal is that we need to provide an extra 5 billion shillings from the fuel stabilization fund. And with a consumption of around 400 million liters of diesel and petrol per month, it means that will amount to around 12 shillings per liter. Adding those 3 elements, specifically reducing VAT by an extra 5%, that gives an extra reprieve of around 8 shillings, reducing fuel levy by around 7 shillings, and also offering an additional subsidy of 5 billion shillings from fuel stabilization fund. That also means around 12 shillings per liter. Wholesomely, we can be able to reduce the prices of fuel today by 27 shillings. And what that is likely to do is that we are going to arrest the very many spiraling effects that will happen starting today out of the reckless decision that was made by government yesterday. And Kenyans need to realize this. The proposals I have given, I'm not even requesting the government to do anything. Kenyans are just saying, take back the levies and taxes where you got them. That's what the people of Kenya are saying. The additional 8% VAT was added by this regime in 2023. The additional 7 shillings in fuel levy was added by this regime in the year 2024. The money that is coming from fuel stabilization fund. It is not money that they have generated. It is money that has been contributed by the Kenyan people in the last several months. So what you are asking is simple. Just take the levies and taxes where you got them. And if that happens, Kenyans are not going to pay more in the pump as it happened yesterday. So Kenyans are not requesting the government to do anything. They are just demanding that the government takes the taxation and levies to the level they got them. If they only do that, there is reprieve in the pump as the starting point. Then after doing that, in the medium term, we should now be looking at how to tax exempt the fuel products. We at least take our VAT to 0 in the intermediate period. Because the issue we are dealing with is not long term. How we saw even during the Russia and Ukraine issue is that this issue doesn't take too long. There is already solutions being floated globally. And therefore, we may push this cost to the Kenyan people, then we end up hurting our economy for the rest of the year. I don't think we need to do that. Kenya has resources to be able to arrest this matter when we can arrest it. The other issue that Kenyans must be aware of, just look at your data and you'll see that global oil prices were at a higher price in the year 2022 than they are now. Actually, in May of 2022, a barrel of oil topped around $115 per barrel. It is definitely higher than the $98 per barrel it is trading today. But fuel prices never exceeded 160 shillings for petrol and around 140 shillings for diesel. So this is simple arithmetic. The global oil prices were higher in 2022 at around $115 per barrel. But the highest Kenyans were paying was around 160 shillings for petrol and 140 shillings for diesel. What an oxymoron then there is, that the global oil prices are now around $98 per barrel, but Kenyans are paying upwards of 200 shillings. That is a paradox by itself. And even when we compare the regional prices, and especially Kenya being a home of a port, and Kenya having mechanisms like fuel stabilization fund, which is funded by Kenyans, it is not explainable logically how any of our neighbors should be selling fuel cheaper than Kenya. That is a paradox by itself. The last thing I want to address, and I want to bring it to the attention of Kenyans, and I've been doing it, but unfortunately, maybe many people block Kenyans from getting this real information. This scam called G2G. G2G is a scandal, it is a scam, and it is a business for senior government officials in Kenya. G2G, there is nothing government to government. Saudi Aramco is government in their area. And also the companies in the UAE are owned by government in those countries. But the other G that should represent the government of Kenya, Kenyans should know that there is no government there. These are self-interested, greedy leaders who are profiteering from G2G as Kenyans brace themselves with the pain at the pump. G2G, I want to repeat, is a kiosk. It is a business enterprise. It is a profit machine for senior government leaders in Kenya. And the companies that handle 75% of G2G volumes, the ultimate beneficial owners of these companies are the same people who added fuel prices yesterday. That for them, they would rather make profits from their G2G arrangements and illegal businesses, but Kenyans to shoulder the burden and the cry. The most unfortunate bit is that they have now extended that grid from now downstream to midstream to all the levels of fuel production in Kenya. That the same cabal in government who are profiteering from G2G, they have now taken Kenyans' resources in Turkana. That the oil in Turkana does no longer belong to Kenyans. It now belongs to greedy leaders. The same people profiteering from G2G, they have now stolen the Kenyan fuel and oil in Turkana. They are now exploring it and exploiting it for their own personal benefit. It is a big shame. And Kenyans cannot continue to be led in this kind of profligate and unabashed and uncontrolled greed. G2G, for avoidance of doubt, is a scandal. And the people who you see there purporting they are the owners of those companies are not. The second thing is that we have now also negotiated through the pain of Kenyans our political dealings. The G2G companies that were there previously belong to the original owners of government, the original one. Now, even those who joined, part of the negotiation that was there after the protest of 2024, that instead of addressing the issues Kenyans raised, leaders sat down to cut deals, and a few companies were introduced into G2G. One of them, you have seen it in today's newspapers on front page, that as Kenyans we are talking about lowering taxes and lowering the cost of living, leaders sat down in dark rooms and instead cut deals on introducing companies belonging to the then opposition. For them to be silenced, Kenyans had to pay the price. So, my friends in government, Kenyans will not continue to shoulder the burden of your greed through the dealings of G2G. That as they bear the pain in the pump, you are celebrating the profits. That will not continue to happen in Kenya anymore. Very lastly, the proposals you are giving are practical as well-meaning leaders. The leaders in government should not try Kenyans. Do not try Kenyans. You may be swimming in money out of the profits you are making from G2G, but Kenyans are wallowing in poverty created by the same policies. Do not try Kenyans. It is to your benefit that soonest the government must call a consultative meetings of all the. We must reduce VAT further. We must reduce fuel levy. And we must provide extra not less than 5 billion shillings for an additional subsidy. And those practical solutions will bring down the fuel prices by at least 27 shillings. Let us not try the patience of Kenyans. It is to your benefit now, by following what Kenyans are proposing. Don't argue with Kenyans, because soon you'll be arguing with yourself. Thank you very much.
Question,
Yes.
Is it possible a real impact on going forward?
Yes.
If this fuel, the price of fuel remains the same at the pump, what is the likely effect from jobs to factories and all that? What is the likely effect for the farmers?
Perfect.
The farmers and all that?
Yes.
Secondly, the argument is that the amount they are using, the 7 shillings, the tax and all that, is the one which is being used for road constructions and all that. What did you say that they need that tax in order to build roads?
Okay. Yes. Let me start with ramifications to the economy. One, we have already seen reactions, credible reactions from actors within our economy. Our economy runs on fuel, from transportation to energy generation to manufacturing and all other facets of our economy. So the likely effect, number one, is what you've already seen, that Kenyans will be made to pay more for transport. And transport in Kenya is not a leisure transport. It is an input. When you move from your home, from Rogai to come to town for work, transport is an input to what you are doing as a provider for labor. And therefore, the ramification number one is that this issue is going directly to the pockets of Kenyans to take the little that is left. The second thing is that we are now, like, after transport hiking of transport cost, the next thing you are likely to see is the prices of the manufactured products, including uga. The other thing is generation of electricity. When you look at your bill, there is money you pay for energy. Sorry. There is the amount you pay in the bill for fuel. That you likely increase. So the spiral effect is quite large and huge. So that is why my proposal would have been, we spend much more money to make sure the spiral doesn't happen. The second thing we will see, by the close of this month, by the close of April, look at the inflation figures in Kenya. The inflation figures will climb up. And inflation is not just a macroeconomic parameter. Inflation communicates what Kenyans are going through. The other thing we are likely to see is that this effect must go into the strength of our local currency. Remember, when prices go up globally, even after we are told we pay this fuel through Kenya shillings, after 6 months, Kenyans still have to pay the fuel in dollars. So the demand for dollars will go up. That means when the demand for dollars go up, we can only do two things as the Kenya. Either expend or spend our currency reserves, that is forex reserves, or number two, the shilling will be decimated or will lose against the other global currencies. That spirals even further because it now affects co-inflation directly. It affects everything else Kenyans import. So the effect is very large. And that is why, given the problem we are dealing with is short-term, the government ought to have dealt with this matter by providing credible, real solutions. We have seen in Zambia, President Hakainde Hichilema, what did he do? They have removed the excise taxes and the VAT from fuel because they understand that the problems you are going to create by rapidly increasing the fuel pump prices will be sticky to come down. When prices of transport go up, when the prices of UGA goes up, in economic terms, those things are called sticky prices. They become sticky. For them to come down, it will be another long haul. So instead of all that, why can't we arrest the issue where it should be arrested? That is my take. The other question about the 7 shillings fuel levy. The government has been telling us that the 7 shillings securitized. Number one, they got embarrassed in Washington, D.C. during the spring meetings because the World Bank and the IMF told them that the money they purport to have securitized from fuel levy, they told them that that is an illegality. And they told them that those are illegal debts. So we are first of all dealing with an illegal thing. Securitization of the 7 shillings was illegal. So the banks that participated in that illegality should pay for their greed also. The government must not pay for the 7 shillings. Those that are not just debt, the state or the sovereign has no credibility in servicing an odious debt. IMF, they told our delegation, they are there in the US, tens of them. They had gone there purporting to be people from the National Treasury. They were taught basic economics. Instead, I hope they are paying school fees for that teaching. Because Kenyans have always told them securitization was illegal, but they still went to the US to ask IMF what securitization is. And the IMF told them the people who participated in it should be nowhere near the management of public resources. So that is what should happen. And not just debt is an illegal debt. The sovereign is not obliged to service odious debts. Any other? So maybe kwa Kiswahili 1 minute. Okay. Asante sana. Na leo Wakenya wameona ya kwamba serikali haijakuwa imejitayarisha vizuri kwa kuangazia mambo ya bei ya mafuta, kwa sababu tumeona nchi mingi duniani, watu wakubwa katika hizo serikali na nchi wamekuwa mstari wa mbele kwanza kuangalia vile watakabiliana na hii janga ya mambo ya bei ya mafuta. Lakini tumeona ya kwamba serikali imechukua muda na badala ya kutoa mwelekeo mzuri, wamekuja jana kuwekelea mzigo kubwa sana kwa Wakenya. Jambo la kwanza nataka niseme ni kwamba bei ya mafuta katika ulimwengu ile inapimwa katika dollars per barrel ilikuwa juu zaidi mwaka wa 2022, ambapo tuliona a barrel of oil ilikuwa dola 115 hivi, lakini mafuta hapa Kenya ilikuwa shilingi 160 kwa petroli na 140 katika diesel. Lakini sasa mafuta ulimwengu iko chini ya vile ilikuwa 2022, kwa sababu oil per barrel is currently around $98 per barrel. Lakini tunaona ya kwamba Wakenya wanaambiwa watalipa mafuta bei kuzidi shilingi 200. How comes mafuta ya 2022 ulimwengu ilikuwa kwa bei kali, lakini hapa Kenya ilikuwa chini zaidi? Kwa nini wakati mafuta iko chini more than 2022, Wakenya ndio wanaongezewa bei much more than in the year 2022? Jambo la pili ni kwamba watu wenye wako katika serikali wanafaa wajue hii mambo ya bei ya mafuta sio bei ya mafuta peke yake. Hii ni mambo ya uchumi ya Kenya. Tushaanza kuona ya kwamba uchumi wa Kenya umeanza fighting back. Tumeona kaka zetu, dada zetu wako katika transport sector already wameongeza bei ya nauri. Na sasa hiyo ni kuonyesha ya kwamba Wakenya tu ambao wako chini zaidi wanaendelea kufinyiliwa zaidi, kwa sababu ile pesa wanalipa katika nauri inatoka tu kwa mfuko ya Wakenya. Because the spiraling effect ya hii mambo ya mafuta sio tu kufuel gari, itakuwa kwa vitu mingi. Katika mambo ya transport tushaona, katika mambo ya manufacturing tutakuwa tunaona hivi karibuni hata bei ya unga. Inflation figures katika hii mwezi wa April tutaweza kuona ya kwamba itaenda juu katika mwisho wa mwezi. Every sector katika uchumi wa Kenya, the economy of Kenya is carried through fuel. Na kwa hivyo ingekuwa ni vyema serikali waone ya kwamba bei ya mafuta tu sio kuweka tu kwa mafuta ya gari, inabeba uchumi wote wa Kenya. Na mimi kama kiongozi napeana practical solutions vile Kenya inafaa ifanye. Ndio hii mambo ya mafuta tuishikilie, kwa sababu ni ya muda. Tuishikilie kwanza. Ya kwanza, ile VAT serikali jana walijaribu kuonyesha Wakenya ati wanapeleka chini. Hiyo ilikuwa ni sarakasi. Kupeleka VAT chini na 3%. That is a joke. Hiyo ni sarakasi. Na Wakenya wanauliza, lazima serikali ipeleke kodi ya VAT chini ya mafuta by at the very least an extra 5%. Na hiyo ita reduce bei ya mafuta na shilingi kama 8 hivi. Kitu ya pili ni kwamba fuel levy ile serikali iliongeza mwaka wa 2024. Wakenya wanasema hiyo shilingi 7 lazima iondolewe. Na jambo la tatu, iko fund katika Kenya inaitwa Fuel Stabilization Fund. Na ni pesa ya Wakenya. Na iko na pesa zaidi ya 20 billion shillings. Wakenya wanasema an extra 5 billion shillings itolewe pale, Wakenya wapewe subsidy. Na katika ile mafuta Wakenya wanatumia kila mwezi ya around 400 liters of petrol and diesel per month. Hiyo pia itapea Wakenya nafuu ya shilingi 12. Ukiongeza hizo nasema mimi 3, kupeleka chini VAT by an extra 5%, hiyo ni kama shilingi 8, kuondoa fuel levy ya shilingi 7 na kuongeza subsidy ya Wakenya kupata nafuu ya shilingi 12 per liter. Hiyo already tutakuwa tumepea Wakenya nafuu ya shilingi 27 kuanzia leo. Kwa nini serikali wagoje mpaka Wakenya wenyewe waanze kujiexpress when they know the right thing to do? Na hiyo mambo Wakenya hawaulizi serikali ifanye jambo lolote. Kenyans are just asking serikali wapeleke kodi ya mafuta kwenye waliipata. Ile wameongeza wenyewe waondoe. Ile walipata ni sawa. Na wakiondoa tu ile wenyewe wameweka, tutaweza kuondoa bei ya mafuta na shilingi 27 leo. Na jambo lingine nataka liongeze ni kwamba hii mfumo tunaambiwa inaitwa G2G ni ukora na biashara ya wakubwa hapa Kenya. Itakuwaje wa Kenya wanalia mafuta iko more than 200 shillings na viongozi wako serikalini ndio wenye kampuni za G2G? Ati wao sasa wanahesabu faida, wa Kenya wakilia wakiweka mafuta. The leaders of Kenya, you should be ashamed of yourselves that you are buying money printing machines ya kuhesabu faida yenu ya G2G wakati wa Kenya wanalia wakiweka bei ya wakiweka mafuta na bei ya juu. It is a shame, na ya kuonyesha ya kwamba wakora tu wenye wako katika G2G wanapata faida wa Kenya wakilia. Sasa wameenda Turukana, wameiba mafuta ya wa Kenya ya Turukana, sasa ni yao binafsi. How much is enough? How much is enough? Kwani mwanaume moja tubo inatoshana nini ukule kila kitu hii dunia? G2G unakula faida wa Kenya wakilia. Mafuta ya Turukana, instead ya isaidia watu wa Turukana, umechukua umeiba ni yako. How much is enough for one man? Asanteni.
Mheshimiwa, just one.
Yes.
My name is Mike from TV 47. When this regime got in, VAT ilikuwa ngapi?
VAT ilikuwa 8%.
Wakaongeza to 16%.
Yeah.
Na ndio maana tumefika hapo tuko saizi. If at all they reduces this VAT to 8%, when Uhuru was leaving the presidency,
yes,
mafuta ilikuwa 159 shillings.
Yes, 159.
Why will it be by 27 shillings? Because imepanda by 27 shillings.
Yes.
If 8% itatolewa irudi 8% VAT, then tunafaa turudi pale kwa 159.
Yes.
Right?
I agree with you. Kuna vitu kadhaa na Kagongo, hiyo ni swali mzuri. Anauliza tukiondoa kodi ile serikali hii imeongeza. Hata Wakenya hawaulizi tunauliza tu ile kodi hii serikali imeongeza, waondoe tu hiyo. Kagongo anauliza bora mafuta itirudi 160. Na hiyo ni swali mzuri sana. Ni kwa sababu tumeongeza vitu zingine. Ukiangalia excise tax, angalia VAT, angalia pesa ilikuwa inapeanwa ya subsidy was a little higher that time. So vile nataka niseme ni kwamba kulingana na hiyo swali, the intervening period, bila kugoja sana, kwanza turudishe VAT kwenye ilikuwa 8%. Hiyo peke yake itaondoa kwanza kodi an extra other than the one that was given was purportedly given yesterday. Itakuwa shilingi 8. Lakini kumbuka ya kwamba fuel levy pia imeongezewa na shilingi 7. So hiyo ni pesa ingine direct to the liter of fuel. Hiyo ni shilingi 7 iliongezwa 2024. Lakini hii pesa ya fuel stabilization, Wakenya ni vizuri waelewe, si pesa hata itawekwa katika bajeti. Ni pesa wao wenyewe washalipia kwa mafuta miezi ambayo mafuta ilikuwa chini. So that is money that is also available. So the practical reasons we are giving ni kwanza mafuta isiongezewe, then tujiulize itarudi vipi vile ilikuwa 159 wakati Uhuru Kenyatta alikuwa anaondoka. So what I have given is practical that it should be done now. And then in the medium term, in the next month or two, then we start talking about reducing VAT further, kama vile tumeona nchi kama Zambia, kama vile tumeona nchi zingine zikifanya kwa niaba ya kujali uchumi wa nchi zao. Nitasema maybe kwa wale wa ile lugha nyingine Ramogi. So I'll be brief also so that I don't keep you. Odo wa mbere ni gwenda kuga ati andu a Kenya ni arakaru muno ni kuonania ati thirikari atongoria thirikari handu hamadiru no horo wa maguta kuma riria baumirire mweri 28 wa February. Tukoretwo tukiona atongoria thirikari mareka campaign handu ha kuonania utongoria maundu-ini maya, na horo wa maguta no wambiririo already ko affect andu a Kenya riria ngari ciongerera thogora wa fare kũ nĩ kuongerera bei kũrĩ mũndũ wa Kenya wa kawaida, na marongerera bei nĩ tondũ wa thirikari gũkĩongerera maguta. Nĩ tũgũkorwo tũkĩona matukũ ma gũka andũ arĩa nao manufacture indo Kenya, tondũ aingĩ mahũthagĩra ndithũrũ nao makĩongerere, mũtu wongererwo bei, inflation mweri ũyũ yongerere. Mũndũ ũrĩa ũrakua mũrigo ũyũ nĩ mũikia kura wa Kenya na mũikari wa bũrũri wa Kenya. Na nĩ wega thirikari ĩmenye economy ya bũrũri wa Kenya ĩranaga through maguta, na nĩ wega mbere ya kuongerera bei ya maguta mamenye kuhutia bei ya maguta nĩ kuhutia miena yothe ya mũikarĩre wa Mũkenya. Proposal itũ nĩ ĩno ta andũ a Kenya. Namba ĩmwe, thirikari no nginya ĩrũe igoti rĩa VAT na an extra 5%. Ici gũka kĩndũ ciringi 8. Thirikari no nginya yeherie fuel levy ĩrĩa o enyewe mongereire mwaka wa 2024. Ici gũka ciringi 7. Na kuma kĩgĩna gĩtagwo Fuel Stabilization Fund, tondũ kĩrĩ na mbeca, thirikari no nginya yeherie bilioni ingĩ 5 cia gũthaitĩra andũ a Kenya na njĩra ya kũmahe subsidies, na icio igũka ciringi 12 o rita, tondũ Kenya hũthagĩra rita milioni 400 ma ndithũrũ na betũrũ o mweri. Na twĩka ũguo andũ a Kenya no mehererio mũrigo wa ciringi 27 thaa ici gũtarĩ gweterera. Ũndũ wa kerĩ, nĩ wega atongoria thirikari manyihanyihie mĩrĩre. Kĩndũ gĩkĩ matindaga magĩtũinĩra gĩtagwo G2G, nĩ biacara ya andũ erĩ atatũ me thirikari-inĩ. Kũngĩhoteka atĩa andũ erĩ atatũ rĩu nĩ gũkena marakena nĩ ũndũ wa faida ĩrĩa marathondeka maguta-inĩ, rĩrĩa andũ othe a Kenya mararĩra, na gũkorwo atĩ andũ acio no tũhete kanya ga gũtongoria bũrũri wa Kenya ihonge-inĩ itiganĩte, na andũ acio no mathiĩte Turukana makoya maguta ma andũ a Kenya makamatua mao. No nginya ũhoro ũyũ wa wĩyendi ũkinye mũico, na andũ a Kenya especially rĩrĩa mahetwo kanya ga gũtongoria, nyihanyihiai ũhoro ũyũ wa kwenda mbeca mũno, nĩguo tũthaitĩre andũ a Kenya na tũthaitĩre economy ya Kenya, na tũtige gũkena rĩrĩa andũ arĩa angĩ a Kenya othe milioni 50 close to 60 million mararĩra atĩ andũ erĩ atatũ rĩu nĩ gũkena marakena nĩ ũndũ wa bei ya maguta kuongererwo, tondũ G2G nĩ yao rĩu nĩ marathondeka faida nene, rĩrĩa andũ milioni 60 a Kenya mararĩra. Atongoria Kenya no nginya manyihanyihie ũhoro ũyũ wa kwenda mũno na ũhoro ũyũ wa kwenda kũhinyĩrĩria andũ a Kenya. Erokamano.